Imbibers, a very good evening all of you. Welcome again children. So today we're going to discuss about the sexually transmitted diseases, which is the another concept related to the reproductive health. We have discussed so many concepts related to the reproductive health in the previous sessions, and we are almost on the completion of this particular chapter. And before we start, let me introduce you to myself once again. I am Anam Khan. I'll be your biology expert, and like we have already completed 3 of our chapters, we're going to soon start the heredity chapter. We're going to basically complete your syllabus soon, and then we're going to have lots and lots of practice sessions and lots of revision sessions also. So yes, so children, please do keep registering for the upcoming classes. Yes, so without wasting any time, let's start our today's session. But yes, I have to remind you that before you come to the class, you have to attempt the pre-class activities. Yes, the Embibe, there's always, once you register for the class, there is a pre-class activities, and after the session gets over, there is always the past Embibe activity. So please do attempt that. It's going to basically help you understand the concept better. So please children, do that. And yes, all the upcoming classes for the next week also will be scheduled by the end of the day probably. So please do register for the upcoming classes so that you never miss an update regarding anything. Yes, so just like we have completed, let's start our another concept related to the sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, the diseases which is basically can hamper the reproductive health and actually damages the reproductive system. Yes, let's start about that. As you know children, the very first, this chapter, which is how do organisms reproduce. Yes, we're going to basically the topics to be discovered, and this particular chapter is the introduction. We have completed all the topics. We are on the last topic. So children, I would request you, if you have missed any session, if you want to revise any session, if you want to basically go through any concept again, all the past Embibe classes are there on your dashboard. You can always watch when you have time, whenever you feel right, you want to revise that particular concept. सारे के सारे past Embibe classes Embibe की dashboard पे available हैं, और सबको उसको दोबारा से दोबारा देख सकते हैं जब भी कभी कोई concept revise करना हो. Okay, so please children, do that. Go and basically just register and explore the Embibe app. And we are on the fourth particular topic, which is the reproductive health. Yes, we are going on with this particular topic. आज हम यही discuss करने वाले हैं. Another topic, another concept from the reproductive health. सिर्फ और सिर्फ sexually transmitted diseases के बारे में discuss करेंगे. What are sexually transmitted diseases? अगर reproductive health, just like you know, there can be diseases, digestive related diseases, it could be heart related diseases, there could be nervous system related diseases. सब तरह की disease होती हैं. Exactly similar way में there is sexually transmitted or sexually diseases which is basically going to hamper your reproductive system or anybody's reproductive system if it's in the contamination. Yes, so let's start our today's session. Yes, this is the particular concept to be covered, but you know what we do. We're going to have a quick recap of what we have studied yesterday. Yes, we have discussed yesterday the birth control method. सारे के सारे birth control method हमने कल discuss की. हमने discuss किया कि हम IUD devices use कर सकते हैं. The females can use the IUD devices to prevent the unwanted conception. Yes, and it is basically all are done under medical supervision, under the medical practitioner. Yes, we have also taken care of the mechanical barrier of contraceptions, and we have also discussed about the oral contraception. So if you have missed this session, you can go and watch it out on the past Embibe classes. Yes, there is always there. Yes, if there is any issue, you can come back and ask questions if there's any particular thing which is not clear to you. So yes, let's start our today's session without wasting any time. The very first thing, talking about the sexually transmitted diseases. Children, 1 million people acquire sexually transmitted diseases according to the World Health Organization, and most of them are between 15 to 25 years old. जब जब reproductive system बहुत mature और develop होता है basically, तब the contamination is always the higher. Yes, so approximately 1 million people हर साल basically every day, sorry, not हर साल, every day, each and every day 1 million people acquire sexually transmitted diseases according to WHO, which is a World Health Organization. And जो भी particular period है, which is 15 to 25 years old के जो age है, उसमें sexually transmitted diseases के होने के chances any day ज़्यादा हैं. People who have contaminated, who have acquired the sexually transmitted diseases are people for the middle age group, which is the 15 to 25. Yes, 15 is very it's a teenage, yes, and if there is a 25, there's a typical adulthood. Yes, the people from 15 to 25 years old and acquire the sexually transmitted diseases. Ruchita, this is a heredity question. It's a very long question. Okay. Okay, let me just give me some time, I'll solve it. Okay. So moving on to this particular, the question is, breeder have raised 556 plants to study the inheritance of two characteristics, height and color of the flower. If the tallness is T, which is dominant over dwarfness, and the violet is dominant over white flowers, and the number of plants showing the following each will be TT, WW, TT, WW in the F2 generation. Okay, we're going to basically discuss about that. Okay, so children, talking about the sexually transmitted diseases. So children, हैं क्या sexually transmitted diseases? Sexually transmitted diseases are those one are acquired through the sexual coming in contact with any kind of a person which is is actually suffering from that kind of a diseases, and the other person, other healthy person come in contact with them. So yes, sexually transmitted diseases are acquired during the coitus, yes, during the basically fusion of gametes, and this is how the person who has been contaminated transmitted the disease, that transmit the contamination to the other person during the sexual intercourses. Okay, this is how the sexually transmitted disease are being transferred from a unhealthy or basically infected person to a healthy person. And you know, the most common, yes, and the most popular also according to the sexually transmitted diseases, which is very, I would say, it's creating havoc among people. It's very disturbing because there's no cure, is of course the HIV. HIV is the sexually transmitted disease which is basically happening, which happened, yes, which totally attack the immune system. This virus totally attack your immune system, and a person who's suffering from is basically the only point of contact is through the sexual intercourses. Yes, this is how the sexually transmitted diseases go from a one healthy person to the, or from the infected person to the healthy person. A healthy person acquire those infections from the infected person during the coitus, during the sexual intercourse. Okay, as we talk about the sexually transmitted diseases, next, yes, we're going to basically talk about how we can prevent the STDs. The STDs, there is, of course, you know, there is a physical barrier. You know, we have discussed about the physical barriers are absolutely there to prevent the STDs. Yes, the physical barriers which are basically there, which creates a barrier from the infected person to the uninfected person, which does not allow the seminal fluid to basically, which is infected, of course, the seminal fluid which is infected to go and pass on from the male reproductive system to the female reproductive system and cause the sexually transmitted diseases. So yes, the physical barriers are absolutely very effective, and none other method, nor copper teas, nor IUDs, nor oral contraceptives, none of them is effective in not transmitting sexually transmitting diseases. Yes, none of them are effective. Only the physical barriers are effective in not transmitting the sexual transmitting diseases. Yes, abstinence. What is abstinence? The practice of restraining oneself or including indulging in sexual activity. Yes, so basically the abstinence is the first practical method to gain STD. It's mean not involving in any kind of a sexual activity. Yes, so basically not exactly. Yes, so basically you have to be medically aware of undergo basically having a partner and practicing the practicing against the STDs. Yes, so basically that abstinence is the first practical method against the STDs. Yes. Next, when we talk about the STDs, so children, as you can see, what are these? The viruses, which is very common, causing the sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, yes, this is the human papilloma virus, which is HPV. This is the human immunodeficiency virus, which is HIV. As you know, you must be aware of this. I know a lot of people are aware of this. These are the two viruses. यही दो viruses हैं जो काफ़ी chaotic हैं और basically very dangerous. HPV वायरस एंड HIV वायरस विच इज़ वेरी डेंजरस, और ये ट्रांसमिट होंगे एक हेल्दी पर्सन उसके एक्वायर करेगा, अगर बेसिकली इन्फेक्टेड होगा तो बेसिकली ही इज इन कॉन्टैक्ट with the infected person through. Yes, the fluid, the seminal fluid is absolutely very infected. Yes, those can be transferred from the male to the female, and the female are also in equally having these particular infections, and they can also transmit those infections to the male. That's basically mutual. Let's discuss about these particular things only as we go back, talking about there are 30 more देन 30 STDs नोज. येस, बहुत सारी STDs हैं, बट ऑफकोर्स जिसने ज़्यादा क्योस मचा रखा है वो HIV ही है, HPV है. ओके, और स्पेशली सबसे डेंजरस तो HIV ही है. येस, ऑल ऑफ यू नो दैट, एवरी वन इज़ अवेयर ऑफ. बट मोर देन 30 STDs नोन हैं. मोर देन 30 STDs आर नोन, सेक्शुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीजेज विच कैन हैपन फ्रॉम द इफेक्टेड पर्सन टू दी हेल्दी पर्सन. और सारे के सारे पैथोजेंस जो हैं, जो इन्फेक्ट करते हैं, वो क्या है, बहुत ही जनरल है. ये सारे पैथोजेंस वैसे भी इन्फेक्ट करते हैं, वायरसेस, बैक्टीरिया, पैरासाइट्स एंड फंगी. येस, ऑल दीज आर पैथोजेंस. येस, दीज आर बेसिकली पैथोजन विच कैन कॉज सर्टेन डिजीजेज हैपनिंग इन द रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम. येस, आर यू गेटिंग चिल्ड्रन व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट? पैथोजन तो हो ही सकता है, बैक्टीरिया भी पैथोजन हो सकता है, वायरस भी पैथोजन हो सकता है, पैरासाइट हो सकते हैं, फंगी हो सकता है. ये सारे के सारे पैथोजेंस हो सकते हैं, तो सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज़ का कॉज हैं, कारण बन सकते हैं. सिंपल. लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट ईच एंड एवरी वन ऑफ देम. लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट दिस. ये क्या है? ये तो अभी डिस्कस किया. ये वायरसेस हैं, HPV वायरस एंड HIV वायरस. सबसे पहला पैथोजन विच इज़ very dangerous. If a healthy person comes in contact with such kind of a virus, it's very dangerous. It can basically take life only. Okay, so virus can act as a pathogen, and HPV, human papilloma virus, and HIV is a very common virus as a pathogen for sexually transmitting diseases. Let's go back. Let's talk about this, which is what? This is bacteria. Bacteria भी जो है वो भी sexually transmitted diseases cause कर सकता है, सेक्शुअल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम को इम्पैक्ट कर सकता है. उनमें से जो है वो ये है निसेनरिया, गोनोरिया, yes, and of course Trichomonas pallidum, syphilis. Syphilis and gonorrhea is another STD which is basically is also hampering the reproductive system. Syphilis and gonorrhea. Okay. Let's talk about the other pathogens. हमने वायरस देख लिया, हमने बैक्टीरिया देख लिया. अभी देखते हैं ये क्या है. ये है तुम्हारा प्रोटोजोअन पैरासाइट. चिल्ड्रन, ये भी सेक्शुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज कर सकता है. ट्रैकोनोमस वेजिनाइलस. ट्रैकोनोमा वेजिनाइलस मेसली जो ये पैरासाइट्स हैं, ये प्रोटोजोन है, ये इन्फेक्ट करते हैं किसको? फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम को. येस, दे गोइंग टू बेसिकली गो एंड इन्फेक्ट द vaginal opening. Yes, the female reproductive system is being hampered by such parasite. This is a protozoan parasite. As we go back talking about सारे के सारे ये पैथोजन वायरस पैथोजन है, बैक्टीरिया पैथोजन है, और ये क्या है? पैरासाइट. ये लास्ट है. ये क्या होगा? सिंपल, ये होगा फंगी. फंगी इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बेसिकली इन्फेक्ट द रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम. स्पेशली इन द फीमेल्स आर वेरी मच prone to get fungal infections. Yes, they are very prone to get fungal infection. This is Candida albicans, which is going to basically cause the infections in the female reproductive system. तो ये सारे के सारे पैथोजेंस हैं जो सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीजेस कॉज कर सकते हैं, तो बेसिकली इन्फेक्शन कॉज कर सकते हैं. येस चिल्ड्रन, क्लियर? ये सारे के सारे जो हैं वो इन्फेक्शन कॉज करते हैं, ये सारे के सारे पैथोजेंस जो हैं. ओके, एज वी मूव फॉरवर्ड टॉकिंग मोर अबाउट दी सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीजेस, लेट्स सी व्हाट वी हैव नेक्स्ट. इज देयर एनीथिंग व्हिच यू वांट मी टू टॉक अबाउट? Yes. Ruchika, I have read your question. The next session, we're going to basically start your heredity only. The very first thing I'm going to solve is your question only. Do not worry about it. We're going to basically solve this question here only. Yes? Okay, सारे के सारे pathogens पढ़ लिए. Yes? Let's move forward, talking more about it. Next, we have a question. So children, among them, which is not a sexually transmitted disease, बहुत ही simple question है. बता दो इनमें से कौन सी ऐसी disease है जो sexually transmitted नहीं होती? This is very simple. I want your answer. Yes? इनमें से कौन सी disease है जो sexually transmitted diseases नहीं है? हाय ममता, बट यू आर लेट फॉर द क्लास. HIV का फुल फॉर्म है ह्यूमन इम्यूनो वायरसेस. यस, क्योंकि इम्यून सिस्टम को इन्फेक्ट करता है इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं. ओके. IUD का फुल फॉर्म है इंट्रा यूटराइन डिवाइसेस. यस, रुचिता क्लियर? अभी तो बताया था HIV का फुल फॉर्म ह्यूमन इम्यूनो वायरसेस. HPV ह्यूमन पैपिलोमा वायरस. यस, व्हाट इज द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस वन? कैंसर जो है वो एक सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज नहीं है. ऑफ कोर्स द जेनाइटल वार्ड्स, द सिफिलिस, द ट्राइकोमाइसिस, ऑल आर सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड diseases. Let's see what we have next. As we move forward talking about it, next we have next we have another question. इनमें से कौन सा पर्टिकुलर जो है वो सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज को ट्रांसमिट होने से रोकेगा? यस, इनमें से कौन सा है जो सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज को होने से रोकेगा? रुचिता, वही IUCD वही होता है, इंट्रा यूटरनाइन कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव डिवाइसेस. IUD इंट्रा यूटरनाइन डिवाइसेस, इंट्रा यूटरनाइन कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव डिवाइसेस. सिंपल, एक ही बात है. यस, व्हाट्स द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर दिस? इंट्रा यूटराइन कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव डिवाइसेस इज कॉल्ड IUCD. क्लियर? इनमें से कौन एज अ फिजिकल बैरियर यूज होगा फॉर दैट द सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज डज नॉट हैपन? Yes, the correct answer would be yes. This is the acting as a physical barrier which does not allow the sexually transmitted disease to happen. Let's see what we have next. Next we have talking about the other. One STD is mutating and becoming resistant to antibiotics. अगर हमें कोई वायरल इन्फेक्शन है, सिंपल सी बात है, तो हम क्या करते हैं? बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन है, एंटीबायोटिक्स कंज्यूम करते हैं. बट कुछ STDs हैं जो इम्यून हो गई हैं इन पर्टिकुलर बायोटिक्स के, बिकॉज दे आर रेगुलरली व्हाट दे आर म्यूटेटिंग. वायरस क्या करता है? बहुत जल्दी म्यूटेट करता है. ओके, वो यू गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट इट. यस, विच इज गोनोरिया, which is the another sexually transmitted disease. Gonorrhea is, and these are of course an STD. What happens in gonorrhea? You know this is caused by the Neisseria gonorrhea. Just as this is a bacterial infection, and as we talk about the gonorrhea, this is a sexually transmitted disease, and the cause of disease a bacterium called Neisseria gonorrhea. Please always remember how does the transmission takes place. The transmission takes place because of the unprotected coitus or the intercourse of any kind of or during birth. Yes, it does happen. It can basically happen during the unprotected coitus, or it might happen because during the any kind of a during birth. Yes. Okay. Talking more about the gonorrhea, children, as we talk about exactly what happens. These are basically the bacterium. This grows inside the genitals, throat and anus. Yes, causing the swelling, itching and pain. Yes, what happens during the gonorrhea? Since it's a bacterial infection, what happens? There is a bacterial growth. The bacterial growth happens. Bacteria क्या करता है? Grow कर जाता है. कहाँ पर? Throat में, anus में और genitals में. Yes, bacteria accumulate होने लगेगा और वो क्या करेगा? Aggregate होगा और grow होने लगेगा. And these are the specific sites where these particular bacteria multiply and cause infection, especially in the genitals, throat and anus. Yes, causing the swelling, itching and a lot of pain. Let's see how this particular bacteria divides and multiply. Let's drag the slider. As I drag the slider, as you can see, this is continuously dividing and increasing in size, and they're going to basically cause infection in the throat, anus and the genitals. This is how the gonorrhea is going to basically impact. Yes, Nitish, it is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome which happens because of the HIV virus. Yes, okay. So children, this is what happens in the gonorrhea. This is a bacterial infection which happens in the particular parts of your body, which leads to the itching and lots of pain and of course the swelling. Yes, this is caused by the pathogen जो पैथोजन बेसिकली जो कॉज करता है वो है निसेनेरिया गोनोरिया. ओके, लेट्स टॉक मोर अबाउट इट. नेक्स्ट वी हैव व्हाट? नेक्स्ट वी हैव सिम्टम क्या है इस पर्टिकुलर सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज़ के सिम्टम्स क्या हैं? तो सिम्टम्स चिल्ड्रन ये है, ऑफ कोर्स मेल को भी इन्फेक्ट कर सकता है, फीमेल को भी इन्फेक्ट कर सकता है. तो बेसिकली सिम्टम क्या है? सिम्टम है इन्फ्लेमेशन ऑफ द यूरेथ्रा एंड पस डिस्चार्ज. Yes, in the male, what happens when the genitals are infected by this bacteria, उससे क्या होगा? पस डिस्चार्ज होने लगेगा और कैसा रहेगा? इन्फ्लेमेशन होगा in the urethra. Since you know that's a common passage for the seminal fluid to pass away and of course the urine pass away. It is going to basically inflammate the urethra and going to basically have a pus discharge. This is a symptom of the gonorrhea. And in the female, again, there is an inflammation of the cervix and pus discharge is going to basically happen. This is what is the symptoms in the male and the female reproductive system. When a female and the male reproductive system is being infected by this particular bacteria, ये बैक्टीरिया जब इन्फेक्ट करेगा मेल और द फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम को, तो ये सारे सिम्टम्स मिलेंगे. इन्फ्लामेशन हो जाएगा यूरेथ्रा का और पस डिस्चार्ज होगा मेल में. एंड इन द फीमेल एग्जैक्टली सेम क्या होगा? इन्फ्लेमेशन, सर्विक्स का इन्फ्लेमेशन होगा. एज यू कैन सी दिस इज वेयर द सर्विक्स इज. सर्विक्स का इन्फ्लेमेशन होगा. अगेन देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ पस डिस्चार्ज. ट्रीटमेंट क्या है इसका? दिस बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन का ट्रीटमेंट क्या है? ममता, आई विल ट्राई टू कंप्लीट द सिलेबस एज सून एज पॉसिबल. जस्ट वेट फॉर कपल ऑफ मोर वीक्स. Before December ends, before the new year comes, your particular syllabus will be completed. I expect your complete syllabus would be done in the second week of December. Yes, do not worry, we're going to have lots of revision sessions also. Treatment क्या है gonorrhea का? What happens? How we can resist this infection? Simple भाई, यही simple है. Antibiotics, although these are resistant strains. Simple. This is what I was talking about. There is certain STD which is getting resistance because of the antibiotics. Antibiotics तुम्हें पता है antibiotics किसे किल करती हैं? बैक्टीरिया को किल करेंगी. एंटीबायोटिक्स बैक्टीरिया को किल करेंगी और जब ये बैक्टीरिया रेजिस्टेंस हो गया है किसी भी एंटीबायोटिक के लिए, तो इसका इन्फेक्शन रोकना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. सिंपल. क्या प्रिवेंशन है? प्रिवेंशन, देयर इज अ फिजिकल बैरियर ड्यूरिंग एनी काइंड ऑफ कोइटस. प्लीज basically avoid the bees. There is only one particular method to avoid any kind of sexual transmitted diseases, which is the physical barriers. Okay, as we move forward talking about it, next we have another question. Which of the following organisms causes gonorrhea? Select the organism. कौन सा पैथोजन है जो गोनोरिया कॉज करता है? Which among them causes the gonorrhea? Yes, ये कैसे होता है? ये सिंपल वायरस के थ्रू होता है. HIV वायरस है जो इन्फेक्ट कर जाता है इम्यून सिस्टम को, और जब ये इन्फेक्ट कर जाता है इम्यून सिस्टम को तो आपको एड्स हो जाता है, विच इज़ एक्वायर्ड इम्यूनो डिफिशियंसी सिंड्रोम. सिंपल. यस, नेक्स्ट वीक के क्लासेस, नेक्स्ट वीक वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद द हेरिडिटी चैप्टर. सारे के सारे क्लासेस आज शाम तक स्केड्यूल हो जाएंगे तुम्हारे एम्बाइब ऐप पे. सो व्हाट यू हैव टू डू, you have to just register for the upcoming classes. As soon as I completed your syllabus, as soon as I complete your syllabus, we going to have again a revision session. I know life processes बहुत पहले पढ़ाया था, ठीक है, सब उड़ गया होगा दिमाग से. We going to revise. Do not worry, before your board examination we going to have lots of practice sessions. Yes, which of the following organism causes gonorrhea? Select the organism. Yes, quickly. करेक्ट आंसर क्या है? करेक्ट आंसर क्या है? बैक्टीरिया. बैक्टीरिया निसेनेरिया गोनोरिया causes the gonorrhea infection, and this is basically going to infect the different parts of your body, especially the genital area, and it is going to basically getting resistance to antibiotics. This is what we have discussed just now. Next question again, क्या basically kill कर सकता है इस बैक्टीरिया को? what is going to be used as a method of prevention? Yes, sorry, not prevention, cure. How do we find the cure? How do we kill this bacteria? How do we kill this pathogen? Yes, how do we kill this pathogen? How do we kill this pathogen? Come on, quickly answer. आंसर करो भाई, अभी अभी पता है, जस्ट इसमें तो दिमाग ही नहीं लगाना है. करेक्ट आंसर है एंटीबायोटिक्स. यस, एंटीबायोटिक्स की वजह से ही होता है. सॉरी, एंटीबायोटिक्स जो है वो इसका क्योर है, बट क्योंकि ये रेजिस्टेंस हो गया है एंटीबायोटिक्स से, लॉट ऑफ स्ट्रेन्स आर बीइंग रेजिस्टेंस, ये म्यूटेट कर रहा है एट अ वेरी फास्टर रेट. यस. So children, this brings to our end of this session. What we have studied in this session, we have studied about the sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, and these sexually transmitted diseases can happen by any pathogen. HIV, which is in human immunoviruses. The viruses is the pathogen. These Neisseria gonorrhea. Gonorrhea is a bacterial disease, and there's a parasites also which can basically infect. So yes, the pathogen could be anything: bacteria, viruses, fungi, and of course the other parasites which going to infect the person, and this infection can pass on to the another healthy person during the coitus. So we have to prevent, if we have to prevent any kind of such infection, we need to use all the mechanical physical barriers to prevent. None of the other contraceptives going to prevent the sexually transmitted diseases. Yes, so children, an STD caused by the bacterium is Neisseria gonorrhea, which we have discussed today. And as I have told you, yes, Ruchita, tomorrow we're going to solve that questions. Do not worry about it. Okay. We're going to basically solve that. Very first thing we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to solve your question because I have to read it because it's going up. Okay. We're going to basically solve your question. I have written down already. So children, this is what we have discussed in today's session. Yes, Ruchita, we're going to solve that question. Okay. So children, the colony of bacteria responsible for very common and dangerous STD. Yes, the colonies of bacteria which is basically responsible for very common STDs, we have discussed about that. And as you know children, the ritual, this is the Embibe app. Yes, this is the Embibe app which you can log in through your phone number and phone number or your email ID. Yes, children, what you have to do, you have to log in, go to the home page. There is an Embibe live classes. Register for the upcoming classes. Do not forget to register for the upcoming classes. All the classes will be scheduled. Go and explore this particular app as much as you can. Next we have Embibe Lens app. You can just scan the text and can see everything in the 3D. And next we have the Telegram channel. Just scan the text and see everything. We're going to basically update everything over here. So please do join us on the Telegram channel. Yes. Okay, Mamta, the full form of HIV is human immunovirus. Human immunovirus. Since it is going to infect the immune system, इसलिए इसे immunovirus कहते हैं. Next, Ruchita, we're going to solve your question tomorrow. The first thing before we start the session, we're going to solve your question related to heredity. And yes, the chapter next would be related to heredity only. We're going to start that chapter also. Next week, we're going to start this heredity chapter. All the particular classes will be scheduled. Yes. Until then, please take care, keep imbibing. Bye-bye.
Keep imbibing. We believe in you.